Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another Fallout 4 modding video. Today we're talking, of course, about another Commonwealth weaponry release, and this time around we're not doing a New Vegas gun. I know you've seen a lot of New Vegas stuff lately, but this time it's something a little different, and apparently from a different video game, and that is going to be the Flamer Rifle. We wanted to do a handheld flamethrower, and so we did one, and apparently it's the one from The Last of Us 2. There's a little bit of confusion to that I'll get into in just a minute. So the idea for a mag-fed rifle-style flamethrower was something we've wanted to do for a very long time. And I say mag-fed, and I really just kind of mean in the reload style. Obviously, it's not a magazine. I'm not that incompetent. But the idea for this kind of a rifle sounded really cool, and we could do something makeshifty, which we do love. We love makeshifty-style weapons. We just never really get an opportunity to flex that muscle. Sometimes we'll add attachments to guns to make them more makeshifty, but this time we have a weapon, much like my skewer, that is completely made out of pipes and junk to make something really, really cool. Now here's where the funny part gets in. Apparently this is the flamethrower from The Last of Us. I did not realize that when making it. I saved this concept art, which apparently was either for the game or something somebody made after the game, and it's been sitting in one of my reference folders for all my ideas for a very, very long time. And then I finally made it. And about halfway through its development, after my work was already done and everybody else was working on the animations and the integration, I realized that this is actually from The Last of Us. I think somebody told me that, and I was a little surprised. And what's extra funny about that is apparently there's a Last of Us TV show happening right now as well. So, quite a funny, timely coincidence. Absolutely not planned and not intentional. Everybody kind of realized it as we released it. Oh wow, this is kind of really funny and thematic for those of you who I guess are enjoying the TV show. I've personally never seen it, but that's cool, I guess. And now you have something from that, or I don't know if it's in the show, but it's in the game. Now you can use it in Fallout. And quite frankly, I think this is such a universal design, even though it was originally from The Last of Us. I think it fits pretty much anywhere. This is a makeshifty flamethrower. It has a bicycle or motorcycle handle and hand brake as its trigger. It's made entirely out of pipes and tubing, and then we also added some fun attachments to make it reference some of the old Fallout games as well as some of the newer Fallout games, and just have some fun attachments that make the whole thing really cool, including an incinerator projectile that is probably the best part of this entire mod. Now, this one took quite a while to come out. We cooked on it for quite some time. I know that for you guys, it might seem like we release a mod every month, or every week, I mean to say. This one, I think, took about a month and a half, maybe a month, something in that ballpark. It took a little while, a lot longer than we anticipated. For you guys, it may seem like we're just constantly pumping stuff out, but we actually have a lot of these things kind of cooking in an oven. I'll do modeling and texturing, and then it'll go to somebody else, and then it'll go to somebody else. And by the time that it's getting finished, we're already a couple projects deep into something entirely different. It's a weird kind of workflow, but that's just how we like to do things. We like making this stuff. And so we just keep making. Even when something else is under production, we start making something else because it's just so much fun and we have so many ideas. Honestly, too many ideas. It's kind of hard to keep track of it all. But yeah, this thing got a lot of extra dev time, which means we have a lot of extra fun stuff to show, including not only the cool models and textures, but brand new animations, specifically for this weapon, as well as brand new projectiles and different types of projectiles that you've probably never seen in Fallout 4. You might have seen them in other games, but not Fallout 4. As well as some other fun behaviors that are just super, super cool that we got working thanks to Shiager and Mac. So those two have made this mod a very, very special project. Now let's go ahead and talk about the specific details of this thing as a weapon in the game. This of course comes with custom models and textures, custom brand new animations, a bunch of different attachments, which is pretty surprising for a flamer, but we tried to give you as much stuff to make this thing as fun as possible. Comes with custom projectiles and loading screens. It is, of course, added to the level list, so you will be able to find this thing on Raiders, Gunners, and Minutemen, and of course, purchase it from vendors after level 6. This is intended to be an earlier game option for a flamethrower compared to the flamer as a heavy weapon that you get later in the vanilla game. Additionally, there's actually a melee weapon added with this pack as a little bonus. It's going to be a little barbecue fork because I don't know, we made it and we figured why not. And then there's also a unique that you can find as well, which of course comes with its own custom paint job and effect that makes it very, very special and fun to go and find. Let's go ahead and hop in game because there's a lot of stuff to talk about with this one, and I don't want to waste any more of your time. For starters, here is a look at the pretty standard Flamer, which I have no idea why this covers some of the model. Usually that's down here. I don't know what does that, but I've seen some guns do it. But here's a good look at the model itself with some changes from the original concept art and design to fit the animations that we have a little bit better, as well as make it fit the game a little better for the things you need, because, I mean, how are you supposed to aim with that? You just kind of can't. Also, this pressure gauge we added because people really, really wanted that. So, this thing has a base damage of, I believe, less than this, because I think I have perks on, so I believe it's in the ballpark of 8 or 9 damage. It is, in quotes, fully automatic because it's a flamer, and I believe that it is affected by the fully automatic perks because of that. We didn't want to use heavy weapon perks because this is much smaller than the traditional flamer. It has a fire rate of 100, a range of 125, an accuracy of 56, a weight of 11 pounds, and I mean, yeah, and this thing has a value of 90 caps. It's a pretty big, beefy weapon made entirely of big metal pipes and huge tubes or canisters or fuel tanks, that's the word I was looking for, that are full of fuel. Whether or not you're using the empty one, you still have this one here on the back as well. So it's a whole thing that is gonna be pretty massive, pretty heavy. Now then, let's go ahead and talk animations, because that's probably one of the coolest parts of this mod. There's a lot of nuanced stuff going on here, so let's go ahead and talk about it. Of course, for starters, we'll talk about the basic stuff, which is the custom reload animation, thanks to the wonderful MacDowell. It's a pretty simple reload. It's very reminiscent of our RCW reload, just with some tweaks and changes to make it fit this weapon, like the big ol' canister and some other little things. Now, there's other stuff going on that you may have noticed or maybe haven't that also make this very cool. For starters, take a look at the pressure gauge we have on the side there. Thanks to Shiger, as you fire this thing, that's actually going to build up, and when you stop firing, it will start to go down. A very, very cool effect. But you may have noticed something else, and that is going to be that there's also heat buildup on the barrel. As this thing fires, it'll start to glow orange, and it'll also have a nice little heat effect, sort of that mirage look that you see when heat is radiating off of something, where the air looks different. Not a physicist, so I can't go further than that, but Shiger also figured that out, so go ahead and take a look at the front of the barrel as well. As you can see, glowing orange with heat dissipating off of that barrel, and that slowly goes away as well, right around the time the fire starts burning, so that's pretty cool. I mean, this is just a really, really wonderful set. Now, that's not the only thing that we did. I believe I have the right one here. That was the regular flamer. There are also a handful of muzzles that change the projectile a bit. Most of them are trade-offs for range or damage or gravity or something like that, but we also included a very, very cool projectile, which is going to be an incinerator projectile. It lobs an incinerator projectile like from Fallout New Vegas that will fly through the air, travel to a target, and then explode. So I guess in a sense we are still kind of on the New Vegas train. Darn it. Well, either way, these things have a fun travel time. You can kind of lob them and blanket an area far away and fire. Something that the vanilla incinerator can't really do. By that I mean flamer. Sorry, I'm a bit tired and I have had no caffeine today, so excuse me when I misspeak. But this thing is super cool. The projectile is super cool. And quite frankly, it's just a lot of fun. And it pops pretty packed. And it packs a pretty good wallop. There, I said it on the first time, and I'm probably going to have to do something crazy to edit all that out. Anyways, this thing also comes with sights. I don't know why we did that. We thought it would be funny, and we put them at an angle. Also, all of a sudden, my gun is low res, and I don't know why that is either. My game is weird, and there, it's back to normal. This is a weird video. It's getting weird real fast, but we're going to move on to the unique. Let's go! So the unique is a pretty fun one. It is known as Cookout, and as you can see, it has some unique aesthetics. First of all, it is painted green, and it has some nice contrast of yellows and reds to make a cool, like, military look. But also, it has a completely custom muzzle here, which is going to be a nice sort of shark tooth, sort of inspired by the ones from TF2, with a nice red interior. I think that's a really, really fun design. Something cool and unique that only is available for this version of the gun. If you want to get your hands on this thing, spoiler warning, you can find it over at the Fiddler's Green Trailer Park, where you will find a new NPC named the Pitmaster, who will actually be using this thing to kill a bunch of ghouls, which is why it does 50% more damage to ghouls. Pretty simple stuff, and I guess now that we have the Last of Us connection, that's even funnier. Now then, let's go ahead and talk about the attachments over at the weapons workbench. There's a good bit of them. So let's go ahead and start off with the regular version of the Flamer. It has a compressor section, which is basically your receiver, and that is going to, of course, bolster your damage or fire rate or other things, depending on which one you choose. Bit of a different option. We didn't want it to make it too overpowered, but we wanted to add something here since there's nothing like that for the vanilla Flamer. For barrels, we have short, standard, and long. Just going to be different barrel lengths that are going to affect your accuracy and weight. For stocks, we have a standard stock, we have a recoil compensating stock, and we have a marksman stock, adding different pieces here to the back to imply that it's a little more comfy and stuff like that. For tanks, we have the standard tank, a quick change tank, which is going to, of course, give you faster reload, and then large versions of both of those as well. I think they are 75 and 150 respectively for their mag capacity. For sights, we have the standard iron sights, we have the dot sight, hollow sight, and reflex sight, which in general isn't going to be very useful, but I mean, you could throw it on maybe the incinerator barrel and that might work. But also there's a laser sight, which does work really, really well and is a lot of fun, so you can aim with the laser. That's super cool. For nozzles, we have the more interesting stuff. We have the standard nozzle, which is your regular flamethrower. We have a bayonet, which of course is a barbecue fork, and since we modeled it for this bayonet, we also made it a standalone weapon, and that's just so fun. The compression nozzle gives you better damage, but reduced range. The liquefier nozzle gives you exceptional damage, but also reduced range, and now the flames have gravity, so they don't go straight out, they actually kind of fall down. The vaporization nozzle gives you more damage and less range once again. And the incinerator nozzle is going to let you fire these things very far away in their nice explosive balls of fire. You already got a little preview of how that looks. Then for the front grip area, we have option for no wrap, a taped wrap, a leather wrap, a foregrip, which does have animations, as well as a taped version of that and a leather version of that. So actually a good bit of options over here. For the accessory slot, we have the option for no accessory, a flashlight mounted on the side, a recon laser mounted on the side, which is quite fun, and then a VATS targeting module as well if you're going to use this in VATS, which would be kind of weird, but sure, why not go for it. Then for grips, we have the option for a no grip, a taped grip, and a leather wrapped grip on the back here. So not as many parts per category, but quite a few categories of stuff you can add onto this thing to make it nice and make it yours. However, it doesn't really stop there. There is also going to be the barbecue fork, which we have not yet talked about, that is going to work just pretty much as a knife, but it's funny and themed around, you know, cooking stuff. And it has a couple of upgrades. It goes from nothing to electrified, thanks to Ares for helping us set this up because it looks super cool. The lightning goes between the little forks here. And the heated version is heated and has a hot dog on the end. Because why not, I guess. And it doesn't stop there either. Cookout actually has more attachments than it comes with. Not only does it have the really cool shark nozzle, but it also has a hot dog on the end of its bayonet. The other one is just a regular fork. this one comes with a hot dog. So you can cook the hot dog while you shoot. I don't know what's happening to our mods anymore. So yeah, guys, that is our flamer rifle. We've been wanting to do a flamethrower forever, and we finally did one. And it was so fun that we think we might want to do more in the future in some new creative ways that we don't think has been done before. So stay tuned for that. Maybe we'll have something for you in the far or near or who knows future. Either way, I hope you guys enjoy the mod, and I hope you enjoy the video. If you enjoy the mod, consider dropping it an endorsement over on the Nexus. It really helps out. And if you enjoy the video, try dropping a like or subscribe if you haven't already for more content just like this. And if you'd like a more direct way to support me and the work that I do, whether it's the mods I've been making on Nexus or the videos I make here on YouTube, the best way to do that is by clicking the link in the description to check me out on Patreon. Of course, this is completely optional, not something you should do if you don't want to or don't have the means to. Just there for people who do. If you would like to do that, you can, but again, don't if you don't want to. That is ridiculous. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed once again, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace!